Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Acacia Clement and Andy Serling on a beautiful Friday here with a small pick six carryover of 13,000 starting in race three of our 8 race card. You ready to go?
Yeah, ready to go.
All right. We've got
know.
all sorts of important things to talk about before we get into today's card, starting with NYRA Bets. You know the drill. You've been there before. Use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Play through NYRA Bets. We have a pick six carry, as we mentioned, 13,560, starts in race three. We have a Saturday contest. You have to post time tomorrow to sign up for that. Must play it through NYRA Bets. All the information is nyrabets.com/contests. We've got a $5,000 hit and split in late pick five here today. You want to opt in for that? I've already opted in for that. We also have a 10% win bonus at Keeneland. You want to opt in for that if you're playing Keeneland today. We have a exacta bonus at Santa Anita if you're playing exacta. You want to opt in for that. We've also got a whole bunch of shows today. We're on from, well, that's a misnomer. We're on from 1 to 2:30, and then we're on from 4:30 to 5. So the first three and the last on FS2 today. We should really try to get these correct. And then we have a show tonight from 7 to 10, right?
Yes.
FS1 for the first 2 hours, and that's Indiana Sire Stakes. And I know Acacia's pretty excited about that. She hasn't shut up about the Indiana Sire Stake
No,
races.
it is. But
since
you
she
know,
came in.
it's one of those things. I mean, we're going to have Marilyn Million on the show tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those, whether it's harness racing or thoroughbreds, whatever it is, being able to kind of highlight the state programs, I think is always great. People take a lot of pride in it.
I agree. I love
Yeah.
the state programs. I actually did a show for Masson on the Maryland Million, I think in 07.
I love
Jay
the Maryland
Primmett and I did
Million.
that.
Maggie's going tomorrow, but
She
she's
is.
from Maryland, which I'm sure she's excited about.
I
But
like Laurel.
I did many a Maryland Million.
I'm
back
sure
in the
they
day.
they ever send you up when you're down there for the freezing cold
Yes.
weekend in
Barbara
February.
Fritchie, yes.
I
It
think
was
the outdoor studio. With
aggressive.
the outdoor
Oh
studio.
yes, I remember aggressively snowing, and I was like, maybe we don't get an interview this race. And they still wanted an interview.
They,
Yeah.
they ran once. It was so
It was snowing. It was so cold.
It was so cold out. I think it was the year I was at Gulfstream. It was so cold. I feel like Trevor had a sort of an incident because of the freezing cold. Maybe he's asthmatic. It was an asthma.
Oh, maybe
There was
I
something
don't
related
remember.
to that. And I remember
It
Gabby
can be very
had to
cold
go up,
there.
and it was like
Yeah.
16 degrees in an outdoor studio. She had like 18 layers on.
Yes.
It was
Yeah,
remarkable.
you look like the Michelin
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Really envious of you being able to do that. Race number one. And we'll take a look at Cocktails and Kringle, who is the horse to beat, comes off the claim for Arasu de Paz. Potentially the speed in this race. I don't know. I'm just not dying to take this horse over one number that was better than the numbers that he'd been running prior to that. And I don't know. He beat a pretty mediocre field last time. He can win this race. I just didn't want to take him on top.
I agree, and he feels like he's a last time was the time type of
Yeah.
horse. As he was in for the maiden 20, like you said, it was a little bit of a hungry field. He was drifting, kind of coming out into the stretch, and when he was alone in there, and obviously he could come back and do it again. I gave a slight nod to the number 4, Derek's Law, who is first off the claim for Linda Rice, comes out of a relatively live race. It was his first start against winners that day. I know he's a one number horse too, given that he ran much better last time than he had prior. But I even felt like his race 2 back was certainly decent enough and was off of a layoff.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this
I
horse,
know.
and I it's hard to know with Linda. She's got a little of the David Jacobson thing where there's a certain amount of randomness sometimes to which ones run on a given day and which ones don't run. The problem I had with this horse is ran a 58, 58, and 57 buyers on 2 of them on a fast track, and then ran the biggest race by far that he's ever run on a sloppy sealed track last
Right.
time out. And Turf Horse won the race, and the second horse came back and ran 1 buyer point lower the next time. Third horse isn't much, and I don't know. I just don't know really who this horse is.
Yeah.
Obviously can win. It's not a particularly competitive field. I took Neon Bordeaux for the Dutro barn, which has been going well since we came back from Saratoga. And I thought that consistently the horse ran figures that were fast enough, probably ran against some better horses overall than everybody else has been running against in their recent races. And while I don't love this horse, I just was my choice. I thought the contenders were fairly obviously the 2, 4, and 5. Thought this horse might be the one that I wanted in there, but it's hard, I think, to have a particularly strong opinion in this race.
No, I agree. And the one thing for me with Neon Bordeaux is that he just does not get out of the gate.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. Listen, if what's her name can break that filly of Linda's that still lost in the first race.
Collaboration. I know, she was actually on the lead.
Broke perfectly.
I watched the race
I know
with
she
Linda.
broke, she'd go to lead.
I know.
Well,
And
she can't
said,
win that race, she'll
well,
never win.
I actually watched the race downstairs with Linda with Collaboration, and she's one that had always been leaping up at the start. And Linda said it's about kind of timing it to turn her head in the gate, and she said they'd had a lot of conversation with the gate crew, and they did a tremendous job. Somehow still got beat.
She still lost,
Yeah.
despite having everything her own way in that race. She just doesn't want to win anymore. Race number 2, a lot of these horses are coming out of the same race, and we'll show Launch Control, Master Freud, and Van Vollenhoven, and I certainly can't blame the connections of Van Vollenhoven making the rider change. This horse lost because of rider error last time, a bad choice going inside, top of the stretch for no apparent reason. I bet the horse last time. I'm not going to come back with him. For my money, I thought Launch Control ran the best race of any of these horses. Forced because of the rail to fight it out in a fast pace, coming off of a 15-month layoff. And today, with a lot less speed in here, I thought he'd be able to dictate the race, and I thought he was the one you wanted. You've gone in a different direction.
Well, don't you feel like there's going to be a bit of pace in here?
No. No, why?
Are you sure? Well,
I'm not,
Launch
su- I'm not
Control.
sure. I'm not sure that I'm sitting in this office, this studio, but who's so fast in here?
Launch Control is the quickest early, but should have a little bit of company. I mean, King Puck was pressing last time. Even Van Vollenhoven, when he gets his trip, is not slow. You have to imagine Kendrick's going to
Kendrick's
going to
be more forward.
with
He's
him.
not going to make the
Yeah.
mistake the rider made last time. I don't disagree, but I don't think it's the same kind of speed that he had to deal with last time.
No.
Last time he was under the gun from the rail. The other thing is, if somebody else wants to go, he can stalk.
Yes, he can.
And last time, because he had the rail and there was a considerable amount more speed last time, I'm not in love with his chances in here. I thought he was the one I wanted from there because, to me, Van Vollenhoven is completely and fully exposed in here. And Master Freud was the other horse. They should have run 1-2 last time.
Yeah.
To be honest, in that race, they were the best 2 horses. Master Freud, he ran fine last time. I've got nothing wildly against him. I've just moved on from him.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you and I have picked him many a time, even back in June. I thought that he was going to be not quite as far back as he was last time out. He was left with a lot to do, just couldn't quite get there. But he is a closing sprinter. He's a turf sprinter through and through. That's what he's sticking with doing today.
Yeah, I think he was farther back because the pace was faster.
Right.
He'll be closer in this race. I don't have a big thing against him. I think King Puck's not impossible. Take a look at his last race. I mean, Light Fantastic hasn't run back from there. Light Fantastic should have been second by a lot in this race. He got left, and then the rider rushed up at an insane pace and actually ran very well. But I think King Puck is fairly logical. He can certainly win this race.
Yeah, he's stepping up to face winners for the first time. Off the back of that maiden race, he was purchased in the digital sale. So now going out for the first time for 3 diamonds.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They've got him and Launch Control in this race.
Yep.
Well, it's the first horse that Miguel's had for
Yes, very exciting.
Is Kirk behaving so far?
Oh, he's been
Because if he
wonderful.
doesn't, you let me know and I'll call him. Nano Man comes out of a race from a speed figure standpoint, got a better figure, and he was off the rail, where the rail was probably the best place to be. I just don't know how good that field was overall.
I know.
It did get a better fig, though, to be
He
fair.
showed some life last time, which I was happy to see, but that was in a non-winners of 2 claiming race, and I just felt he was facing some horses with, I think, a little bit better form than what he was running against last time.
All right, move on to race number 3, and we'll take a look at Obla Di Obla Da. Down on the rail, we'll show the star of the race for the first quarter mile.
Oh, Eddie was ready. Pick 6 carryover starts.
Oh, thanks, Eddie. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. Source got
I got you, Eddie.
completely left in here and rushes up into making the lead. And at the end of the day, you don't know if the horse will break well. He does have the rail today. But usually his horses break better second time out. A clean break, he's in front, and he's probably going to win.
Yeah, that's so much.
At a short price.
After that break, too, then kind of rushing up, and then you see, I mean, he's a little bit like, whoa, okay, let's go. It's kind of mixed signals for a young horse, especially a first-time starter having to rush up like that. And then, understandably, he starts to get a little bit leg weary in the stretch. Altogether, though, he actually ran pretty well, holding holding on. I knew he finished fourth, but thought that it was a respectable effort for him. He's also facing New York Reds for the first time coming into this spot. Just thinks he makes a lot of sense.
I don't really see how anybody's going to win this race realistically besides him and
I
Liberty
know.
Rising.
I
Liberty
know.
Rising is dropping down for Pat Quick, certainly a contender in this race, and at a better price certainly can win.
Yeah.
They look like the main two. I mean, I guess Army Proud will probably be second choice, but man, I am not a fan.
He's
Obadi
just had
can't
his
beat him.
chances. I know. He's just had his chances.
Just not very good. And I tried to make a case for Ethereum on the
Me too.
outside. Broke a little slow last time. He had a very mild bump. It was really
Yeah.
nothing to speak of, but he just completely and totally stopped.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if I can really trust him in there. I agree. I just think the 1 or maybe the 3 are the likely winners in here. I'd use
agree.
them as an A and a B in the pick 6, which starts off with a carryover, $13,560. Race number 4. Let's take a look at the beginning and the end of the Ennistown English Castle race last time out, where I think that we want to show the start. Because Ennistown is going to have that, stuck in the side trip. He's a number 3 horse in the sort of in that bright green. He's going to stop. I thought English Castle probably ran the better race of these.
Yeah.
This was when the rails came down, and I know that he's going to sort of steady in there. To me, that's meaningless trouble. He does come off the rail, but he gets right back to the rail. Whereas English Castle was never on the rail in here. Where did you go in this race?
I went to English Castle. I thought that he did run very well that day. I actually liked both of those horses in that race. I really liked Ennistown getting back onto the turf. I know that he won with a soft pace on the dirt 2 back, but thought even that he looked more like a turf horse, and then that's him on the rail coming up the inside. And I thought ran pretty gamely that day, whereas English Castle did the dirty work, and he was really digging in late as the closer in Global Prosperity came and ran them all down. So I thought both of those horses very logical out of that race.
Yeah, I don't want horses that save ground. That's why I don't really want Ennistown. That was the last day of the meet. They took the rails down.
Yep.
The rail was a huge advantage on the inner turf, and that's why Global Prosperity won and why the 4th place finisher didn't win in there. The horse that I want out of the race is La Chase. I don't know, what's going through Dylan's head in some of these races, but
very
just
odd trip.
lollygagging around out in the middle of the track.
know.
You either have to go or you have to get position, but too often I feel like he's doing neither, and he ends up 3 wide or more the whole way around the racetrack against the track. I thought he'd run fine the time before that, coming off the layoff. Now he's 3rd off a layoff, and I thought La Chase was really compromised last time out. What do you do with Hamilton's Way coming? It's not off the claim, but it's
Right.
a trainer switch to Brad Cox for Sandy Goldfarb with a horse who just doesn't win. That's
I
my
know.
problem with him.
I know. That's why I put him 4th, largely because just the Brad Cox, Sandy Goldfarb team has been amazingly successful. This horse was first off the claim for the owners and for Wayne Potts, who had him previously last time out. Was I thought taking a little bit of time, took a long time to kind of get going, to get the wheels turning. And then ran on a little bit there to be 4th. Iron Max did come back to win again with an 85 buyer speed figure. I put him on there, but I felt like some others were more interesting in this spot. I will be curious to see what Jurisprudence does.
Take a look at his win, Laurel.
He, I thought, ran against some pretty tough company last time out. I knew he's in for the claiming tag. This is his debut, right? But last time out, I thought that he had a quick pace, but he just never really looked comfortable throughout the running of that race. And it was a wild race there where Pancake House won out of nowhere in there. So I wanted to give him another chance in here.
Yeah, I thought he got maybe Irad's worst ride of the
Yeah.
year last time out. I think it's being nice, not suggesting. If you didn't know it was Irad, you'd have thought it was some ridiculous bug boy or something riding this horse. First thing he does after breaking step slow, and this is last time, is he drags him completely out of the race. And then he's out in the middle of the racetrack, 3
throwing
wide
his
on
head
both turns.
around,
He
yeah.
totally eased him in the race. I mean, he would not have lost that race by 8.5. I think he's way the horse to beat in this race.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to beat him because I have a thing with La Chase. Interesting enough, Harvard Stables has not won a race yet at this meet. I think it's the longest they've gone in a long time without winning a race in the meet. They've had some bad luck, but not any wins. But Jurisprudence, he is the horse to beat. That was a better field last time. He
Yeah.
got a bad trip, a bad ride,
I agree.
and I just think he's the logical horse to beat.
It was an odd race.
Picked against him, but I'm going to not against him. He would be an A for me.
I
We'll take a
agree.
break. The late pick 4 after a quick break.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Acacia and Andy. Race number 5. Maybe race number 5 is as simple as these 3 horses. The Oriu doesn't win. Hello Newman and Pass the Soy Sauce coming out of the last race in July 17th. I think you like Pass the Soy Sauce.
Yes.
I guess I would like him in the worst out of that race. I'm not sure I want anybody out of this race, Acacia.
Well, the one thing with Paz the Soy Sauce that the others don't boast is that July 17th race that we're looking at, he was off a layoff and it was his first time on the turf, despite having a lot of turf pedigree. And I remember this is a horse that Tom Morley had tried several times to get on the grass and just kept getting rained off and had taken a while to kind of actually get into a turf race. So it was the first start with blinkers, first start off a layoff. Last time out, pressed the pace setter and ended up kind of fading. Not
A
the
better
best
field. That was a better-
performance, but I
that
do
was a
I
better
agree.
field.
Top to bottom was a better field. So I thought to give him the plus because I wanted to give him another chance, see if he could get the trip and on the turf again.
I don't have a problem with him, and he'd be
Yeah.
a main use for me. I'm just not sure how much I like that race overall.
I agree.
With 4 minting the wire together. And this is a funny race because there's actually a lot of pedigree in this race.
I know.
I mean, Big Timer has a ton of pedigree.
Yeah.
He's after a really nice turf horse. And City of Light's been effective with his turf sprinters. Until last call, the Dam was a multiple winner in the turf. She ran 85 buyers, produced 3 turf winners.
Yeah.
Their horses. Bargaining Table, she's a little before your time, the Dam of Sammy C. Note, and this horse was already entered for the
It was a
turf.
very good turf.
But, well,
horse. Yeah.
you should look her up when you get downstairs. I think she's like 6 for 7 or 7 for 8 at Aqueduct in the turf. She
Oh, really?
loved the Aqueduct turf course.
Yeah.
She was running a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember her connections used to send me videos when she was retired and
Oh,
stuff.
that's cool.
She won 36 times. She had 10 wins. She was a very cool horse. But if you can you bring up her PBs? I think she has
Yeah.
this crazy record at Aqueduct. She may have lost like her last start at Aqueduct on the turf, and up until then she was something like 6 for 6. I think she's like 6 for 7 at Aqueduct on turf. It's a very cool horse. Now I don't know if any of these can run. I've got Big Timer in there using the Phil Antonacci horse, who I thought may have the better pedigree of all of them. I don't love turnbacks in these races. And Linda Rice's are not particularly great with turnbacks. But I think this is an interesting horse for turning back because she kind of ran off a
I
little
agree.
bit last time out in what was a pace that was the first course put up at 21.9. It was obviously not 21.9, but they were moving up front, and she was 3 wide around the track the whole way on a day where you wanted to be on the rail. And I just feel like this might be a turn back on a horse that I think might be better than these horses. Now,
Yeah.
there's also a chance she doesn't really want to run anymore.
He.
Excuse me. And I'm willing to take that chance, but I thought today might be an interesting race. But I'll tell you, every one of these firsters on the turf has pedigree.
I know.
8, 9, 10.
I know. It's kind of wild. Yeah, I agree with you on Trinity River. He's also a really energetic horse. He almost kind of acts more like a sprinter. So I thought the cutback was interesting. And he's also second off the layoff. He was 4 wide last time out. I thought he was a really big player. As far as bargaining what's her name?
Table?
Bargaining table. She was 10-time turf winner from 36
Yeah.
starts on the grass, 5 seconds, 3/3. And her last couple of wins came on the Belmont turf course. But
I
she did
think she has
have
a
a very
crazy
good
record
record
at Aqueduct,
at
right?
Aqueduct. Yeah,
Yeah, she
very
lost a
good in the
race.
fall at Aqueduct.
Yeah.
She loved it.
Yeah, was a very
She was
cool
running
horse.
like mid to high 70 buyers, 80 buyers on the turf.
She was a
in
really
claiming
neat horse.
races.
Who
Yeah.
trained her? Jim Pregnant?
Well, she started with Chad, and then for most of her career was John Toscano.
Okay.
Abby Adsit had her, Rudy Rodriguez had her, and then finished with Mike Maselli.
All right.
Pretty
Was this
cool.
originally a Clarvich horse? Did
Yeah.
he name this horse? He named Bargaining Table?
Yeah.
Makes sense. A brother Derek.
Brother Derek.
Don't see a lot of brother Dereks,
Yeah.
but she was a very cool horse that I know a lot of
Very
people
cool.
probably remember. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see. And Just Living a Dream was another one that ran around here as well. Race number 6. Race number 6, I thought was a very, very, very tricky race.
Yes.
And Lutch Bear Claw Necklace running second. Super Tuscan was able to wire the field. You've got her on top. I have no problem with Bear Claw Necklace. Horse can certainly win. I think that Uncle Jim needs a more aggressive ride.
Yes.
And there's no reason that Uncle Jim can't be close in a relatively paceless race, as the two could be close as well. And I think my feeling with Uncle Jim was we'd see a more aggressive ride from Kendrick, and maybe that would help turn things around. But I thought this was a very, very hard race.
I completely agree. Uncle Jim got squeezed back early out of that race too. I thought watching it, he was off slow, kind of got squeezed
Step slow,
back. And then I thought that he was taken out of his comfort zone, and I would imagine would be more forward today. I thought Bear Claw Necklace did run well. I had liked him last time too, wanting to give him another chance. And I'd mentioned that race 2 back, where he was off of a little bit of layoff and coming to Saratoga. There was a big delay in the paddock beforehand. He got so wound up. He's a horse that likes to kick and can kind of be a lot sometimes before the race. And so coming to Aqueduct, sometimes we'll see horses just be a lot more settled here as well. So I thought both those horses out of that race interesting.
I don't think there's a horse in here that can't win.
I know.
You know, I mean, I don't know where 3B's race came from 2 back, but he was first time for the Nodas.
Yeah.
And they've had some horses that have run huge figures when they took him over. And that's why Captain Jack Sparrow, a horse that I would just completely throw out of this race,
I know.
even though he ran an 80 figure last time. But given he was claimed by the Nodas, I don't think there's any way you can responsibly do that. He comes off a big figure win. I don't know where it came from. He's never run as fast as he did in this race. And now he's going to a barn that's capable of moving horses up considerably off the claim. So I don't like this horse, but I don't want to let him beat me. I'm
I
scared
know.
of this horse.
It's just that was such a tough field. It was kind of him and I thought on paper the third place finisher Dark Vector that were the kind of the logicals, and he won much the best that day with a much faster race than he's ever run before. I agree with you. I looked at him for a long, long time, largely because of the claim.
Yeah, I cannot allow this horse to beat me, and that's the problem with these stables that are moving horses up off claims. You're using horses of theirs that you don't really like, and especially becomes problematic in multi-race sequences. And when you've got a pick 6 carryover, late pick 5. Listen, I don't even think Mozambique, who you have second, is. I'm sorry, you don't have second. We have Nowhere. I don't think he's impossible in this race.
agree.
I don't think Trust
Yeah.
Issues, who doesn't seem to win, but I don't think that horse is impossible either. This
Correct.
race to me is absolutely wide open.
You could make a case for any horse in
And I
here.
don't think there's anybody in here that you feel firmly. I can see your argument that Bear Claw Necklace is probably the horse to beat in here. But I don't love that horse. I mean,
you
he
don't
has
have to.
improved, though. His races since coming to Saratoga were a huge improvement over his priors.
Yep.
Maybe he won't run as well down here. I don't know. You know, this is a tricky race. I think it's got more questions than answers, this race. Race number 7. Man, this race is like all over the place.
Yes.
I'm going to start by showing a horse you and I don't have in there. I have 4th in the 8 Temple City Taboo. I actually think this horse is dangerous in here.
I agree.
I am not thrilled with the rider. I'm assuming that Fernando Hara is still riding this horse.
That's what I saw. He was caught behind horses, nowhere to go until late last time out, did run on. It was avoided claim, comes back at the same level of competition, which is certainly a positive. Absolutely, she ran well last time out. I had such a hard time with this race and ended up thinking that this was a horse that had just enough trouble to kind of suck you in a little bit, and thinking maybe to look at some others.
Yeah, no, I think she can win.
Yeah.
I'm not picking that rider. We've seen of his riding, especially in New York. He's just not. He's subpar. The riders here, to be kind. You've got Authenticate now. Let me know what I'm missing.
I don't know if there is much. I just kept going back to this horse. I know that she's been running and claiming races at Monmouth recently, but I did think it was interesting that Mike Deeney opts to bring her here to New York. She looked in the running of the race last time out like when kind of taking back on the rail, she never really got settled in the running of that race. And so picking up Kendrick Carmouche, she has some natural speed. I thought that she looked so uncomfortable and actually still ran on a little bit in that race that I wanted to give her a try with Kendrick, with the top tier rider picking up the mountain here, and thinking that she would be a price in a race that I thought was incredibly tough.
Okay, I've never seen her run a race that makes her competitive, but I wish you luck. She will be a big price in this race. Sopernant Coca is very logical.
Yes.
We'll show her last race. It was back in February. She's coming off a layoff. She's not exactly a winning type, which is the one win and 4/3. But I think for Mike Maker off the layoff, she's an extremely logical horse in this race.
Yep, she just has
doesn't have
no
any speed. Yeah,
Yes,
that's the concern
that's
with
literally
her.
the comment I put next to her. No speed. She ran on. She was trying late last time out. Yes, it was a layoff since February, but she comes back with a drop in class. She was claimed for 30,000 back last summer, so it's kind of a logical back to basics, I thought, kind of drop for her.
I don't love anyone in this race, but I'm going to bet on Vino Samara. Vino Samara last time was the first time she ran long since her debut, and I didn't even think her debut was really that bad, all things
Yeah.
considered. And this was the kind of ride that all too often John Velasquez has given on the turf with horses at big prices from outside posts and turf routes, where he just sits out in the four-path the whole way around and never gives the horse a chance to run. Now, I'm not saying she would have won the race. She was 100-1 in that race. Having said that, she literally never had a chance to run at all at any point during the running of the race. Now she's running in a significantly easier spot.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of speed. I like that Jose Lezcano picks up. I think he can be aggressive and at the very least get some early position with this horse, a horse that didn't run that badly with a ridiculous trip last time against better horses. So I want to give this horse one more chance because that was what happened last time was just absurd.
Yep. Since her debut, every single time I have seen her, I've written down, looks like a turf horse. So she's back, I think, in a logical spot and on the turf today.
See what happens in race number 7. It's not exactly a race full of reliable form.
No.
Race number 8. I'm going to start the conversation in here. The horse that I have 4th and you have 3rd, Delightful Darling. My worry with her is she comes out of a good race where she actually ran well. The race kind of fell apart. I worry about this horse getting 6 furlongs.
Yes,
She's
that
gonna be
is
favored
definitely
here.
a question. She ran fine first time out behind Merengue, who ran very well at Kentucky Downs for Rudy Brisset, and then she actually ran well in the dirt, 2 back as well, and then last time behind Quiet Street, who would win the stake at Kentucky Downs and then finish 3rd in the Miss Grillo. Lit Ship came back to win and then finished 5th in the Jessamine, both of those stretching out, but she was kind of pressing in there. Blinkers going on. I have to imagine they're going to use her speed. I just wonder, she hasn't been able to seal the deal yet.
I worry about her finishing in here. What's
Yeah.
the Channel View story?
I'm going with the George Weaver on the turf angle in here, sprinting. She will have to navigate a trip from the outside post. She went 20-3 at OBS March. I thought watching that she looked like a turf horse, despite the fact that she's by Charlatan, whose progeny were selling really well at the 2-year-old sales, and then we haven't really kind of seen a big horse coming on yet. And I have seen a lot of trainers trying them on the grass. The Dam is the sister to Come Dancing, so there's actually more dirt
There's a
pedigree.
dirt pedigree, yeah.
But he has been working her on the turf, and she shows up here. And like I said, I thought in that workout she kind of moved like she should handle the grass.
I don't feel like George has particularly good numbers with these horses with Eric Hansel, but we'll see if that works out for him. I've stuck mostly to horses that have run, starting with Bramble Blast. The first race behind Royal Testament, who's heading to the Breeders' Cup
Yeah.
Juvenile Turf Sprint, wherever that's worth, was a pretty good horse, actually. And it just seems to me that the connections kind of took their eye off the ball after this race and got a little bit confused. I don't know why you would run back in a stake at the Bolton Landing. There were certainly plenty of turf sprint maiden races they could have run in. And you're dueling with a horse like Cy-Fair. Then comes
She's
back
very
and
good
tries
too,
to go
yeah.
long on the turf.
Yeah.
She's a turf sprinter,
Yes.
and she's finally back where she belongs. I don't believe there's a chance in hell that I'll get 8 to 1 on her. I hope
Yeah.
I do. But to me, I think she's the horse to beat in this race. I just think she's been badly handled.
That makes sense. I think she's a turf sprinter too. Finally getting to go back to turf sprinting in a maiden race. And the monster pedigree on this one too. The Dam's been an incredible producer of stakes horses. Bramble Queen, Bramble Bay, Bramble Berry. So see, I guess maybe they're thinking with that pedigree she might have been able to go right into stakes company, but I just think this is a logical spot for her.
I'm not sure if Bella Rosa will take a look at here. Maybe I was a little ambitious. I didn't love the field that she ran with last time out, but I thought she ran reasonably well in here. She is under the gun, though, as the main speed in the inside, and she's got Delightful Darling to deal with. I didn't think she was impossible.
She is. Cadenza was a Brad Cox filly, was getting on the turf and was a short price in there who won that race. She ran
She's a
against
big pedigree,
She does.
expensive horse. She's not much horse.
Yeah, but she, well, this horse probably ran against the toughest 2-year-old filly maiden field on the dirt on debut. But she is another one. She's by Charlatan, but I'd written down last time. She has knee action. She moves like a turf horse. I just thought that maybe she was facing some more interesting new faces.
The one thing I'll say, though, is that the horse that was second there, Vajra,
Yeah.
was that Rudy Brissett horse.
Yep.
It's an incredibly fast horse coming
is.
from Churchill. And so she dealt with serious speed last time and did fairly well. Let's talk about firsters on the turf. Endless Horizons, the two. This is not a barn that wins with a lot of turf sprinting debuters,
Lot of
but
big
there's
pedigree.
plenty of pedigree on the Dam side for this one in Liam's map.
Yep.
Chattelot, the horse for Miguel. That horse to the Dam was a good turf horse. Their foals, they weren't that good, the runners, but they ran well enough on turf without winning. I've heard Immortal Poet can run.
Yep.
For Robbie Falcone, the 6. You've got him second. I ended the horse nowhere, but I heard that they like this horse.
Yes. Apparently she's been training exceptionally well. From what I can tell, it looks like she is the first Lope Fernandez to run stateside
Yeah,
here.
I haven't seen those horses.
Which I remember he was an Aidan O'Brien horse, got in off the also eligible list at the Breeders' Cup and finished 3rd, I think.
And a big price.
At a big price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a
Time
Kingman
for
for Barkley.
you. Time for you. The Dam was bought at the Tattersall's mare sale for over $1 million.
Wow.
And so she, from what I could tell, this is only her second foal or
think
third
it's her
foal,
third foal.
foal to run. One was a winner, but she
They
was.
weren't much.
Yeah, they haven't been much.
She has been
yet.
very disappointing. The second Dam was pretty good, but she
Yes.
has not been that good. But there is a lot of pedigree going on in this race
Yep.
and a lot happening. The last race we'll be back on for this race is we're on from 1 to 2:30, and then 4:30 to 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we
The
gotta
last
we
race.
gotta get those slates, Eddie. We gotta get it. Those slates are accurate because that's a silly slate. We shouldn't even show it, to be honest. All right. Thank you, Acacia. Thank you for watching. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. Play any track, anywhere, anytime through Naira Bets. We have a $13,560 carryover the pick 6 starting in race 3 of our 8-race card. We've got a Belmont the contest. You got to sign up for that. You'll have till post time tomorrow. Get more information. You can only play this through Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com/contests for more information. We have a $5,000 hit and split over at Naira Bets. Opt in for that. We also have a 10% win bonus at Keeneland. Opt in for that. I've already done that. So I might bet a little Keeneland today. Did you see that Cherie DeVoe had a 42-year-old that ran on that speed track at Saratoga that stretched out yesterday. It won by about a city block yesterday.
Oh, I
Keeneland.
didn't
happened
get
to
a
watch
chance
that
to look
race
at
when
it
I got
yet.
home before
Yeah.
I fell asleep. We have a 10% bonus on Exactas, I think, at Santa Anita. You're playing Santa Anita. You'll want to opt in for that as well. No, I don't, Eddie. We are on from 1 to 2:30 on FS2, and then 4:30 to 5 for the rest of the last race. And then we're on from 7 to 10 tonight, Eddie. Is that correct?
7 to 10. FS1, FS2. Chris Griffin hosting that show.
Yes, with Paul Verderosa is on as well. That's it. We're done. Chris Griffin's up next. Not only is he on that show, but he's also up next, the reprise Scratch and Change. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.